wished to interpellate Deputy Speaker Waminal, and I was given the go signal.
Mr. Deputy Speaker Marcoleta, the person who gave his privileged speech is not willing to be interpellated. So therefore, there can be no interpellation at this time.
So, Dios Waminal, Mr. Speaker, refuses to answer interpellation from this representation.
Yes, he had made his reasons to do so, and so therefore, there can be no interpellation on his privileged speech because he has declined.
Thank you.
Honorable Marcoleta is now allowed to give his manifestation, a short manifestation. For after all, there is no reply to that because there is no interpellation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this incident came from, I would say, complaints heard to me by several residents of Osamis City in Misamis Occidental sometime in April of last year. Considering, Mr. Speaker, that our constituency is nationwide, those residents, Mr. Speaker, specifically those belonging to the marginalized and poor sector of this country, are the chosen sectors of our party list. Hindi naman pwedeng hindi ko sila tulungan kung meron silang problema, Mr. Speaker. And so because of those complaints, those cries for justice, because at that time, their dwelling houses, the residences are being demolished. I remember I texted and I even communicated with Deputy Speaker Henry Waminal in order to know the background on what is happening in his district. And so, I was told, Mr. Speaker, that the city government of Osamis, whose mayor is his son, was granted a writ of possession by the trial court. I asked him, Mr. Speaker, if by virtue of the writ of possession granted by the court, if the Osamis government was already entitled to demolish those houses. I was specifically asking him, Mr. Speaker, whether the writ of possession granted the Osamis city government also the right to demolish the houses. I told him that you need writs or orders of demolitions coming from the court before you can do that. I think you must observe due process. Mr. Speaker, I also told him that there is a law on expropriation. As a matter of fact, in one of his press cons and interviews, Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker Waminal referred to Republic Act 10752. He was saying in that press conference that the project is a national project funded by the national government and implemented by the DPWH. I asked him, kung ba meron ka ng writ of possession, ang ibig mong sabihin, pwede nang wasakin lahat ang mga bahay nang walang writ of demolitions. Wala namang magandang sagot, Mr. Speaker. Wala silang maipakita. So I called the DILG. Pwede pa ka akong magpatulong sa inyo because pandemic na po kasi noon, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, point of order, Mr. Speaker.
I think
What is the point
I
of
have the
order?
floor, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, let us first hear a point of order which takes precedence.
Those lines that he already made mention, like my intervention in his own district. As I have said, Mr. Speaker, our constituency is nationwide. And I intervened because residents in Misamis Occidental called me and texted me and it is my duty to respond, Mr. Speaker. At yun nga po, tinatanong ko, kung merong court orders ng pagdidemolish, wala naman. So, I called the DILG, specifically if they can ask the PNP to also see the grounds, what is happening on the grounds, see for themselves kung meron pong writ of demolition. Kung meron, okay lang, because that is the proper and legal order. Ang problema, Mr. Speaker, wala pong writ of demolitions, walang orders of demolitions, and this fact was even confirmed to me by Undersecretary of DILG Echeverry, because the provincial DILG official reported to him that there was no writ of demolitions. Mr. Speaker, ang sabi ko kay Deputy Waminal, he should observe due process. Kasi po kahit na magkaroon kayo ng writ of demolition, hindi naman po pwede po na automatic meron na po kayong title over the lands na po inyong ina-expropriate. Ibig bang sabihin, Mr. Speaker, pag ang nag-issue na po ng writ of possession ng court, yung title po kagad automatic pang napunta sa Osamis government? Hindi po. So the question is, paano po kayo makapagtatayo ng isang project funded by the national government over a land area which is owned privately by the residents? Bakit papasok ang national government like the DPWH mag-construct ng project hindi naman titulado sa Osamis government? These are the questions I raised. And I even told him, Mr. Speaker, under Republic Act 7279, small parcels of lands belonging to residents are even exempted. They are exempted from expropriation. And then, the same law, Mr. Speaker, Section 10. Ang sabi po doon, expropriation is only one mode of land acquisition. Before you can even resort to expropriation, dapat po exhausted yung ibang modes of acquisition like land banking, community mortgage, land swapping, negotiated sale, donation to the government, and so on and so forth. What does the law specifically say? You have to exhaust these different modes of acquisition before you can go to expropriation. And then, kung talagang nag-iisa na lang, expropriation na lang, Mr. Speaker, ang sabi po ng batas specifically, parcels of land belonging to small landowners are exempted for purposes of that law. Yun po yung sinasabi ko. Pagkatapos, dinimolish lahat ang mga bahay. Mr. Speaker, under Republic Act 10752, there are 3 requisites na dapat gawin ng proponent na mag-expropriate. Number 1, babayaran mo 100% ng relevant zonal value ng mga i-expropriate mo. Babayaran mo yung improvements and houses and the trees and crops that may have been destroyed in the act of expropriation. And primarily, Mr. Speaker, under Republic Act 10752, you have to go through expropriation through the office of the Solicitor General or the office of the Government Corporate Counsel. Hindi po didiretso ang Osamis government na mag-expropriate like what they did by filing a complaint for expropriation in the trial court. They invoke the eminent domain of the local government code. That is a general law. Ang special law on expropriation is Republic Act 10752. We lawyers know that a special law will prevail over the general law in the matters of expropriation. This is the special law.
Marcoleta, we request
Speaker.
that you wind up because 10 more of our congressmen are in line for the privilege speech. Kindly wind up so that those issues precisely
Yes,
will be
Mr. Speaker,
fleshed out.
kaya ko lang po kinukwento ito dahil
Yes.
sinasabi niya na that I interfered. I interfered for the correct reasons.
We got
Hindi
your-
naman po siya naniwala sa akin. Hindi na sana tayo napunta sa ganito kung pinakinggan niya ako. Pagkatapos sasabihin niya, pinakita niya, kinausap ko raw ang sheriff. Totoo po yun, through telephone, Mr. Speaker. I was asking the sheriff kung may dala-dala siyang court order ng demolition. Wala po, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, so that precisely those issues will be threshed out in the proper committee by the rules because the privileged speech has
Salamat
already been
po.
referred to.
Salamat po,
So,
Mr. Speaker.
Can you wind up so that we can now go